What did you like about the Wallabies the most? What really impressed you about that Wallaby performance?
Well, there was a moment in the game around the 50th minute mark that summarised the whole game for me, because it was 4 really good phases of defence, but it was also one poor mistake in terms of anticipation around the rucks. You see the advantage line there, and this is where Kirtley led the line and put a good shot on Sonny Bill Williams. He did that all night. He was fantastic. The second phase, Rory Arnold gets around late, but still manages to get another good shot on. So they've gone 2 phases here. They haven't made an advantage. They come back to where they started. Kirtley gives them line speed as well. While Kirtley races up, Hoop still comes across and makes his man on Kieran Reid. And this is the 4th phase. You see Arnold and Sukobi Kepu. They end up after 4 phases 5 metres behind the advantage line, the All Blacks. And that, to me, summarised everything the Wallabies did well. But then this next phase, Cano...
Oh, they're doing outstanding work. But you look at... And defence is always from inside out. You look at the space here that they created, which gave Dane Coles the chance to get through, penetrate the Wallaby back line, or the Wallaby defensive line. And Sean McMahon, you know, in a desperate attempt, puts his hands in the rucks, undoes 4 to 5 phases of amazing, intense football, and it all amounts to nothing because the Wallabies don't have discipline.
And so you don't want to pick on someone there, but Scotty Sear, when you're in that first position at the ruck, you've got to anticipate guys who are going to be taking those quick goes up the middle. And just that 2 or 3 metres stressed us. McMahon felt like he had to make a play at the ball. So 4 great plays for 1 negative play, and they scored 2 phases.
And also, particularly with Aaron Smith, who is so dangerous from the back of the ruck. And the All Blacks have made it almost their point of difference in World Rugby this year, their tight play, creating space in space where you don't think they can create it.
So for 4 phases, they played wide off the 9, they went nowhere. So then what does a smart player do? He goes straight through the middle, and that's where we've got to be able to anticipate that.
And that's one thing that I was impressed by with this last match compared to the one before, is just some of their work rate off the ball. And I've got some footage where I've highlighted McMahon and Hooper. If you just watch them through this sequence of play, the work rate they do and just getting themselves in a position where they're offering themselves up, whether it be off 9 or whether it also be just picking and driving when the ball's available. Like you said, Stephen, when you're acknowledging that they're not putting anyone into the ruck, these guys are picking and driving, going through it. And it's just something, I thought, a sequence of events, not just from these two, but a lot of the guys that were involved in this, that was just a marked improvement from last week.
Well, it's great to see how they put themselves in a position to obviously be either a decoy or a ball carrier there. But you can just see that the amount of footwork that they get through and the energy each time they get their hands on the ball, the injection that they have and the way in which they penetrate the All Black
And you
defence.
see Genny allows to get out and have a run there because McMahon's running at full tilt, so that sits a few defenders down. I think this is great footage to show all young players. Motion off the ball is what allows players like Genia, who scores a try from this, to get out and find some space.
I think you identified that, Drew, didn't you, when we did the wrap-up of the game before in Sydney, and you said what the Wallabies had to do was do the hard things early to make it easier for them down the track, and that's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, it is, and look, now we're getting deep into this sequence, and you look at Sean McMahon, he's blowing here, but he still gets himself, and then his injection straight away when he gets his hands on the ball. But just watch another couple of phases here. Hoops just whacked by Retallick there. And everyone's, pumped. Willie Genia goes through and scores a try. But have a look on the bottom right corner of the screen. There's 2 guys that have put in a huge shift. And, and Willie Genia going over for the try is the result in that.